Welcome to Comcast High School Sports on Demand, powered by MaxPreps.com. I'm Cynthia Nickerson. The Ridgepoint Lady Panthers softball team's season ended with a heartbreaking loss. They didn't make the semifinals this year. Naturally, senior Cortni Emanuel was disappointed by that, but overall she's pleased with her performance during her final year.
At first, I think we could have went further in the season. I mean, I was really disappointed at that, but overall, I think I had a good season. I hit, I think it was 5 home runs, and I've never hit any home runs before, so that was my biggest thing this year.
Cortni also believes she came down with a case of senioritis.
I told the younger girls just work hard and don't procrastinate, because that was my biggest downfall of this year, probably procrastination. And don't slack off, because senioritis is real.
This time last year, Cortni was saying goodbye to her big sister Sydney as Sydney prepared to go off to college. It was not only hard to see her older sister leave home, but Sydney had been her softball teammate for several years.
You know, growing up, we had them on separate teams every other year. So she didn't really get comfortable playing with Sid until really her freshman year in high school. And then for that 4-year period, they played in high school together and they played in summer ball together.
Their dad, Cortni Emanuel, is a former professional football player, but he also excelled at baseball. So when the girls started softball, he coached them, and he also coaches an AAU team.
From all my dad has experience in the NFL and all his football stuff, it has really, he's used that stuff to help us mentally and physically in his baseball history. So that's really been a major factor in us growing as athletes.
He also sees how the sisters' strong connection helps them on the field and then poses a challenge when they are not together.
It challenged her in a lot of different ways that maybe she wasn't used to. Sydney's a little bit more vocal as a leader. Cortni's a little bit more, I lead by example. And so when Sid wasn't there, she had to kind of take on that vocal role and lead by example. And so, you know, we had, I would say, probably 3 or 4 opportunities to sit down, and I said, hey, okay, now this is what you need to do in this situation. Sydney's not there, you've got to take on that role. And so I think it really allowed her to grow up and mature as a ball player and as a leader.
It was really different not having Sydney, because we both play a big leadership role together. And without her, I had to take on more by myself. So, I mean, it was different.
Cortni needed those leadership skills to help her team get through the season, like in their game against George Ranch High School, when the Lady Panthers were down 2-0 in a playoff game.
I just felt like everybody was really antsy and really hyped up, and I saw the crowd getting to them and everything. So my thoughts were just to tell them to calm down and just play how you know how to play. And don't block out everything around you. Don't get so wrapped up in trying so hard. Just play and be yourself.
While Cortni's last game as a Lady Panther was disappointing, she and her sister Sydney definitely made a positive impact on the Ridgepoint softball program.
They've set a standard, and they've set a standard of play, they set a standard of excellence, and they've set a standard of intensity that the program and players will be measured against for years to come.
Now, both Cortni and Sydney look forward to starting a new chapter. Sydney will not return to Texas Tech due to a coaching change. They are now looking at SEC schools, and Cortni says it's important that they stay together.
I don't think I'd be able to go far, really far, without my sister, because we both play off of each other, and we've grown up together playing softball. So
she works really hard, and I would say she was a perfectionist, just like I am. If she's not getting something, then she'll try a different way until she figures it out. She works hard on and off the field, and she tries to improve her game whatever she can in any way possible. She's very coachable, and she takes criticism very well and tries to better herself from whatever a coach is telling her.
The sisters both plan to major in sports psychology and one day hope to practice together.
Well, first, I always liked listening to people and helping people. And I remember my dad used to tell us stories about how he would go to sports psychologists and how to help control situations and stuff. And I just always found that interesting.
I was shocked, but I think there's a lot of good sports psychologists out there that make a lot of good money. And they get connected with professional athletes and teams and organizations, and they can make a name for themselves.
But for the moment, though, Cortni is concentrating on what she needs to do to be a great SEC softball player.
I just want to be the best athlete I can be.
I'm Cynthia Nickerson. Thanks for watching Comcast High School Sports on Demand, powered by MaxPreps.com.